Hello everyone, I'm Paul McGuire Grimes. Acting titans Jonathan Pryce and Anthony Hopkins star in the new movie The Two Popes, and I want to talk about it. This is Paul's trip to the movies. The Two Popes is an unconventional biopic for Cardinal Jorge Bergoglio, played by Jonathan Pryce, who would go on to become Pope Francis. The story is structured as a conversation between Bergoglio as he shares his life story with Pope Benedict XVI, played by Anthony Hopkins. Bergoglio is looking to retire, but Pope Benedict is questioning his motives. Both are thought to be men of God, yet come at their ministry in the Catholic Church in two very different ways. It becomes a fascinating conversation between the ultra-conservative Pope Benedict and the liberal Cardinal Bergoglio. It's directed by Fernando Meirelles, who also directed City of God and The Constant Gardener. The Two Popes is inspired by true events and gives us that inside perspective into these two holy men and the process the Catholic Church uses to determine a new pope. The film showcases the pomp and circumstance behind the voting process and the colored smoke and how the whole world waits with bated breath for the outcome. Now that may be exciting to learn about for non-Catholics watching the movie, yet the real appeal for me was all in the dialogue in these personal conversations. Screenwriter Anthony McCartan gives us a really humane look at these two men of the cloth. He almost seems to side with Cardinal Bergoglio and then paints Pope Benedict as the antagonist. Now maybe that comes from the fact that I side more with Bergoglio's ideals, or maybe it's just easy to see Anthony Hopkins as the villain. Bergoglio says that change and compromise are two very different things, but Pope Benedict doesn't see it that way. These arguments between them are fascinating to watch, as they cover everything between a divorce, birth control, being gay, and women's rights within the Catholic Church. Those are just some of the hot-button issues that the Catholic Church of today has to deal with. A movie about two priests talking could have been a slog to sit through, yet it's anything but that when you feel like you're sitting in a room with gifted actors like Anthony Hopkins and Jonathan Pryce. Their performances complement each other so well that I have a hard time thinking of two different actors in these roles. You just want to soak up every morsel of knowledge between them. Director Fernando Meirelles gives the film plenty of humor too, with how he makes Cardinal Bergoglio that down-to-earth, gentle soul that you can relate to. The film is exquisite to look at in the cinematography, the costumes, production design, and I'm really curious to see how much of it was shot on location versus recreations. We know that Cardinal Bergoglio would eventually become Pope Francis, and this is a really insightful look into that journey. It's not easy to entrust oneself in God's mercy, but how do we respond to that call, and how those messages come in many forms and ideals. The Two Popes is a riveting confessional, thanks to two exquisite performances from Anthony Hopkins and Jonathan Pryce. It's now in select theaters and will stream on Netflix December 20th. I'm giving The Two Popes 4.5 out of 5 ticket subs. If you like my review today, click subscribe on my YouTube channel. I have new reviews of other Netflix movies like Marriage Story and The Irishman. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Paul's Movie Trip, and then go to my website, paulstriptothemovies.com, for even more reviews. Thank you so much for watching my review of The Two Popes. This is Paul's Trip to the Movies.